Good morning, everyone. We are in for a treat today. We're going to be here for an hour with, I'm Cindy Metzler with $1 Million HVACR, and I have my partner, Dennis Sanilnikov, on the screen here with us, and I have Dennis Harrelson with Omni Group. And we are going to be talking today about profits and AI and how to scale your HVAC business. And we have some incredible partners with us today. Just wanted to give everyone an intro and let you know that the first thing we're going to do is introduce our partners from P3, UEI, Drain IV, and Ferguson, which we're so excited to have them. And then Dennis and I will talk about marketing for HVAC in 2026. And then we're going to give Dennis Harrelson the floor from Omni Resource Group, and I'll give him a warm introduction when we get there. And everyone can get CEU credits for today, so that's exciting. Any contractor who wants them, they just need to go to Omni Resource Group, and we will put that on the screen for everyone. So we're going to jump right in today. What an incredible group we have. Everyone has decades and decades of HVAC experience. The first partner we're going to bring on board and to welcome to the screen is Brian Starzak from HVAC Business Solutions and P3 HVAC Software. And Brian, we've known each other for, I think, almost 15 years now. And I wanted to give you the floor to introduce yourself and tell everyone about P3 HVAC Software and what's happening in the new year.
Great. Well, thank you, Cindy. Appreciate to be a part of this event. Hello, everyone. Like Cindy said, I'm Brian Starzak. I'm the president of HVAC Business Solutions. We're the creators of P3 HVAC Software, and really excited to be a part of this webinar because I believe, as all of you do, that 2026 is going to be a very exciting year. The companies that work smarter, adopt best business practices, adopt AI where it makes sense are going to have a very, very good year. At HVAC Business Solutions, our mission is really to help smaller residential HVAC companies compete with the big boys in their local market. P3 is a software solution that contains everything you need to run your residential HVAC company, from scheduling, dispatching, mobile app for the tech, good, better, best equipment proposals, equipment tracking, invoicing, credit card processing, reviews, and a whole lot more. It's all combined into one easy to use platform. But as a software company, what really sets us apart more than we're just focused in the HVAC industry is our commitment to support. When you work with us, you don't just get a software solution, you get a partner. And if you want a company that is going to treat your company as if it's own, we might be a good fit for you. Overall, we're very excited to be here. I appreciate the invitation, Cindy, to join you. Looking forward to learning with you guys and sharing the knowledge that we have that can help HVAC companies thrive. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Brian. Wonderful. Yeah, you guys have a lot going on. And the other cool thing I think about everybody that's participating today that's really special is the corporate culture. Like you said, everyone on this webinar is literally, a partner with their clients, which is something that is very unique these days. With that in mind, I'm going to introduce Louise from UEI. UEI has been in business for 71 years, and Louise is doing some incredible work there. So, Louise, I'm going to give you the floor.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having us. I'm excited to be here. My name's Louise Keller. I am the National Training Manager for UEI Test Instruments. As Cindy mentioned, we've entered our 71st year of business. We are a second generation family-owned business, which makes us so much like our customers, which I think is a really important thing. It also allows us to have a lot of dedication and a lot of communication directly with our customers. And what we do is we provide solutions for HVAC contractors to help keep homes and workplaces safe and comfortable. One of the unique things about UEI Test Instruments is the fact that not only are we a manufacturer, we own our manufacturing. So almost all of the products that you see out in the wild with that UEI Test Instruments logo, they're going to be manufactured in facilities that we own in either the UK or South Korea. And with all of our products, we really want to back them. We have a award-winning service that we have UEI Service Plus guaranteed, which makes contractors' lives easier because we want to design the solutions that make your life easier when you're out there in the field. So I'm really excited to work for UEI Test Instruments. I think we have some of the best products that are out there on the market. And, right now we are in the middle of heating season. So I want to make sure that everybody is aware. We do a lot with the dangers of carbon monoxide, and combustion analysis is where one of our specialties lies. In addition to that, the rest of the solutions that we create have to do with the everyday solutions that contractors need.
Wonderful. Thank you, Louise. The more I learn
Thank you.
about UEI and the corporate heritage and the, just where the company has been and where it's going, it's just so incredible. And I know you won a Dealer Design Award and innovation, and there's lots of good things happening for 2026 as well. I wanted to bring up to the stage next a friend and colleague, Ron Saunders. He is partner at Drain IV and a serial HVAC entrepreneur, right, Ron? You've got lots of hats and lots of cool things going on. So we also go back about 15 plus years. So Ron, take it away.
Well, when you say serial, I always think of a serial killer, but I guess now that's entrepreneur. I love the industry, and I love working with contractors and distributors. And Cindy, you've been wonderful. A lot of people don't know this, but Cindy helps me a lot with a few charities and with no direct connection. So it really means a lot, Cindy. So thank you again for having me on the show. Drain IV came out of a need many years ago, actually probably 5 or 6 years ago. Fresh Air UV, the company I formerly owned with my partner, Chris Willett. We were trying to develop a product that would actually control the slime in the drain line. When we went through a transaction with Diverstech, we could no longer focus on that opportunity. So afterwards, I received a Drain IV product from a friend. It worked in my own home. So I reached out to the guy who was selling the product on Facebook and said, hey, would you like to bring this through the trade? I know a lot of contractors would benefit from this solution, and homeowners would have access to this product because buying it on their own is very challenging, especially here in Florida. So I became a partner, and happy to report. And Ferguson's on the call, Mark Rambo. Him and I have actually made calls together on this and have successful contractors already selling the product. It's a revenue generator instead of being a nuisance call on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock where no one's happy that the drain line overflowed and that there's moisture everywhere. So it's been a wonderful product, and we're thrilled to work with contractors for training and promotions. And our goal is to have every contractor offering this product, making some revenue, and making happy homeowners.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ron. Exciting things. You want to share a little bit, teaser, what else is happening in your world?
Well, yes, may as well. My former company, Indoor Air Quality Company, I had a lot of people around the country that have said, hey, can you make me a great product again? So I'm coming out with another product under the brand Pro IAQ. So you'll see more of that to follow. You're the first group that I've uttered those words to out loud.
Very, very exciting. Okay, thank you guys. Next, we're going to invite Mark Rambo with Ferguson. He and I go way back to, I think, more than 20 years, Mark. So excited to have you here. you were one of the reasons that we put this together, right? All the different connections, you and I. So I'm happy to have you. Thank you for joining, and tell us a little bit about you and Ferguson.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Ferguson, I work for Ferguson Enterprises, and we pretty much cover all over the United States. I'm located in the Fort Myers area. Many times when people think Ferguson, they think plumbing, but we're so much more than that. HVAC is one of our largest initiatives, and currently we're second in the Southeast in the country as far as HVAC distribution. All throughout the United States, we sell just about every brand you can think of. Drain IV, Ron brought it up. I've sold thousands. I strongly urge you to take a hard look at that. It works. I have it in my house. Phenomenal product. Ferguson is a one-stop shop. We're really innovative. We're really thinking outside the box. We're really wanting to be a consultant. We want to make sure that we take care of our customers, show them opportunities such as Drain IV and many other items. Software. Cindy and I have worked largely with marketing. Dennis from Omni is on the phone. He works one-on-one with us at Ferguson with contractors. So we're really trying to find solutions, be that consultant that can help you take your business to whatever level you want it to be. Thank you for letting me have a few minutes.
Thank you, Mark. And I think that's key here. You know, everybody here is really trying to provide solutions for contractors to help them grow their business. And like I mentioned, everyone on this webinar also has like a very long heritage in HVAC. And I can also say, having, you know, known everybody for quite some time, there is that thread, that common thread of partnership with contractors, where you don't always find that with businesses that work together. It really is a partnership, and something that I think in many cases even like family. So we're going to jump into, yeah. So thank you all for participating. So the next step is going to be Dennis and I speaking a little bit about marketing for about 5 minutes or so. And then we're going to hand it off to the main event, Dennis from Omni Group. And then we're going to open it up for Q&A. So stick around for the Q&A part. And so Dennis and I are going to be speaking about the HVAC roadmap for 2026 from a marketing perspective. And I have over 20 years of HVAC marketing experience, and Dennis has over 15 years of digital marketing experience. And we both have our own agencies, and we started together about 2 years ago, $1 Million HVACR, because we joined forces and saw that a lot of contractors needed systems and processes to help them grow their business from a marketing perspective. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to tease a little bit about AI as well. I think we'll go to the next slide, Jim. So this is so tiny. I'm sorry. I have to just, can you make it a little bit bigger so I can, these are some, basically some really powerful numbers that we wanted to share just to set the tone, because I feel like, you know, numbers don't lie. And when you talk about, statistics, it really can be very powerful. So we'll just touch on these. 93% of consumers stay online, say that online reviews determine who they hire. So when you think about that, that's very, very powerful. So if you don't have online reviews as a contractor, that's obviously a very big missing link. I know everyone has it, but we need to really, really focus on nurturing those. 88% of homeowners trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. So that's another really powerful stat, just to indicate that, you know, you should be really focusing on those online reviews. Social media influences 71% of home service buying decisions, and contractors with an active social presence see 2 to 3 times higher consumer trust. So sometimes contractors don't think that that social media component is that important, but it really is. The other thing we wanted to touch on was website and local search. 75% of users never scroll past the first page of Google. And now with AI, it's more and more important to have a presence on, and we'll get into that. Dennis will talk about that with ChatGPT and the other AI engines. So the first second impression in the page and your page speed gives you a 7% increase in conversions. So the 7% increase means that, if someone's on your website and it's clunky and it's not moving smoothly, you're going to lose business opportunities. So it's another thing we're going to touch on really quickly. Contractors with location-specific service pages are 67% more are apt to see 67% more organic traffic. And then we'll touch on email ROI and value. Believe it or not, email is the #1 cost-effective marketing channel, and a lot of contractors do not lean into their emails. And that's something that we're going to touch on today very quickly. And then companies with an engaged email list can drive $50,000 to $250,000 in annual off-season revenue. So that's huge. And we've seen it happen. Once you start nurturing those emails, it's a game changer. Email automation reduces churn by up to 30%. I'm going to hand this off to Dennis, and we're going to go through this really quickly because we want to give Dennis Harrelson the floor. And then anyone who wants the presentation, we can share it with them, and we'll have some opportunities at the end of the presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Cindy. Yeah, I'll just touch base upon some of the recent tactics we're using when it comes to digital marketing and AI. So the fundamental shift in HVAC growth has changed. So before it used to be more trucks, more techs. Right now, people are investing into strategic marketing, strategic branding, AI-powered systems, and a lot of the AI search engine optimization. So it's important more and more to optimize for AI. That's really the trending topic right now, is how to get visibility, how to get the results, and how to get your company into AI answer engine optimization. The most people search online right now when they have a problem, if their AC is not working. So building trust online is really crucial. That's really where buyers or prospects make a decisions even before your truck arrives. So building a strong digital footprint determines the quality, and it also brings better value on your pricing online. So people will, they won't haggle or nickel and dime as much, because if your company is trusted online, you have good reviews, they're going to trust your company much better. So the important factors to consider is your website, reviews, and social presence create first impressions. So professional digital presence equals premium pricing power. Speaking of the trust online, it's important to have your company branded professionally. So what does a brand online includes? It includes a modern, mobile, responsive website. You want to make sure it's secured and it loads super fast, because everybody nowadays uses mobile devices, iPhone, Androids, and you want to make sure your website is accessible instantly. You want to make sure your Google business profile is optimized. You have recent photos, recent videos. You have a consistent review strategy. Every time a tech leaves a customer, you want to make sure you send them a text message to ask a review. You want to make sure you have an email marketing strategy for all the holidays, all the promotions, and you have a consistent email drip campaign. Whenever somebody opts into your email list, submits a form on your website, you hit them with an email promotion. And you want to make sure you look at the reviews and you follow all the notification online, and create a strong online reputation management. And more importantly, you want to have a cohesive online presence. Your website, your trucks, your apparel, your social media should all be branded and consistent. And that shows a professional brand image. So, we keep talking about AI, and some of the tricks that, we implement and we see customers use nowadays is AI is your competitive edge. Let AI work and make your business more productive. Some of the things that we implement is 24/7 AI close bot. So what that means, it's an AI agent as your virtual employee. It's trained to answer questions, qualified people, and also book service automatically. If somebody contacts your company off hours, our AI virtual employees are able to talk to them, book appointments, and then when somebody gets in the morning, they're able to follow up instantly with them. And AI allows you to generate unlimited amount of content. Generative AI is really trending with ChatGPT, so you can generate text, images, blogs, videos. Nowadays, your limit is your only imagination. And we use AI to do keyword research and plan research to get more qualified prospects. So these are the more important AI, how to make it more competitive for you. As we spoke before, SEO is really going away. Google is losing some of it, market for things like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Grok. So it's important not only to optimize for Google, but also important to optimize for answer engine optimization, like, for example, Alexa, Siri, anywhere you can ask a question verbally, it's important to optimize. So we've been working on that, and we're seeing a lot more and more searches and visitors coming to the website from AI tools. And with AI, you can do so much content. You can create consistent, high-quality content. It allows you to rank higher on Google with blogs and copy. And you can also use AI to write emails, ads, and promotional content that will help you get more customers. And Cindy, this is you get into some of the CRM tools that we use.
Yeah, so our main CRM tool is Pipeline Amp. So this is the process that Dennis and I put together. And then we also collaborate a lot with P3 HVAC software, which is, as you know, you mentioned, Brian was on the stage earlier, field service management software. So the Pipeline Amp, what's beautiful about it, it's all in one place, and it actually shows everything. It tracks everything. It has your lead management, your automated follow-up, your review generation, your revenue tracking, all in one place. So the email marketing is through there. You can see all of the analytics, which we love, and we can see what's working if you're using pay-per-click, Meta, and all of those different channels. So it's an all-in-one place that actually captures everything. And if you have, P3, a field service management software, we can integrate with that on the operations side. And then it really automates so much for your company. So next slide. I think we might have to make it a little bit bigger because it's hard to, yeah. So we just wanted to have some 4 key takeaways for your HVAC business today from the webinar. So basically, just some key things to remember: own your Google presence or lose the sale. 80% of homeowners start their contractor search on Google. Use AI, GEO, and SEO together. And basically, GEO is generative engine optimization. So that's something that is, as Dennis mentioned, Google is losing market share. And if you're not using GEO, you're going to be missing out. These are just action items. And again, we can share this presentation after. But these are just some things that you can take away today and do on your own in your business that can help you grow your business. Building your email list. Again, it's the highest ROI channel in HVAC. Collecting emails on every single service call, every quote, every website form. And then also the contractor with the most service agreements, which we all know helps us during those off seasons. And going back to email marketing, if you're nurturing those emails and staying in front of your customer on a regular basis, at least once a month with an email, you can grow your service agreement business, which again is going to help you be a much more valuable business in the long run. And yeah, you can get a free audit from us. Request your free marketing audit at $1,000,000HVACR.com. And we're going to actually close. Dennis, did you have any final words? Because I'm going to give the main event to Dennis Harrelson, and just wanted to thank everybody for the opportunity.
No, that was great. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, anybody's interested in free audit, just contact us and we'll do a comprehensive analysis of your website, of your marketing plan. Thank you.
Okay, so we're heading into the main event. Again, I wanted to introduce Dennis Harrelson. He's the CEO and founder of Omni Resource Group with offices in Fort Myers, Tampa, Orlando. Omni has been helping contractors scale their business since 1980 with an emphasis on growing revenue, improving margins, and increasing business value. Omni has helped countless contractors reach new levels of success. They specialize in the construction trades with an emphasis in HVAC. Dennis has been speaker multiple times at the state AC conventions and many local chapters of the state associations. If you want to grow your business, they are a go-to resource. As I mentioned, we met, I actually was looking through my text messages and have messages from 2012 to Omni Group. So we've been known each other for quite some time. They've been helping a lot of contractors that we know grow their business. And I also wanted to mention, I hope Dennis shares his story as a veteran. I went to see him present recently, and I just want to thank him for his service. Incredible story, and incredible entrepreneur. And what you've grown, Dennis, over the years is just something, you know, again, as an entrepreneur, just something to be really proud of. So I'm going to let you take it away, and thank you for joining. Oh, Dennis, you need to unmute, please. If you see on the bottom of the screen, there's the little mute button next to your name. The little microphone. Jim, are you able to unmute Dennis? Oops. Okay, he's going to get someone, I think that, yes. So anyway, we've known each other for quite some time now, and it was the first time at our recent presentation, he had a presentation to Air Conditioning Contractors Association in Fort Myers, and I learned about his background in the Vietnam War, and it was such an incredible story that he shared. And my dad also is a veteran from the Vietnam War, so it really hit home. And
I got it, guys. Thanks.
Okay, there he is. Thank you, Dennis.
Okay. All right, Cindy, thanks a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to be here. I've been doing this, working with contractors since 1980, 45 years this year. And, you know, one of the things I want to talk about is something I'm sure that's near and dear to everybody's heart, is growing your business and improving your margins. That's what you try to do every single day. And I work best by telling stories because I think I can communicate better that way. But I'm here in Fort Myers. I'm right off Highway 41. If I get in my car and drive south for 5 miles, I get out and go in and talk to an air conditioning contractor, and that contractor's doing $10 million of revenue every year and barely can make their payroll. They're just struggling to make payroll week to week. Get back in my car and I drive north on Highway 41 towards Sarasota. I stop into another contractor doing that same doggone $10 million of business, and they're taking out $250,000 a year in salary and benefits and making a 12 or 14% margin. There's a reason why. It could be their knowledge, it could be their skills, it could be their location, their inability to finance growth. But if I had 3 contractors sitting together and I said, you know what, tell me the 3 biggest things that you have that challenge your company every day. And unanimously, they're going to tell me that one of those 3 things almost every single time is I can't find qualified employees, and then it's a tough problem keeping them and holding them. So our conversation today is going to be about growing your business, improving your margins through the recruiting and retention of good employees. So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on for the next 30 minutes, and hopefully everybody will pick up a couple of gems out of it. But Jim, if you'd go ahead and change to the next slide. So we got to start somewhere in our presentation. So I'm going to just say, just for purposes of our meeting today, as you're an air conditioning contractor and you're doing $5 million a year of business, you're taking out about $100,000 in salary and benefit, and you're making a 6% margin. You've been stuck there for a long time. You've watched your peers just go to a different level. So you're talking to me today about, I want to grow my business to a $10 million company. I want to take out $250,000 in salary and benefits, and I want to make a 12% margin, which is very reasonable. That's a very reasonable goal. So we're going to use that as a starting spot today and a place to grow from. So I'm ready for the next slide. So you got a growth problem, and the growth problem, as I said earlier, is I'm trying to attract and retain people, and I'm having a problem with it. I've had a problem with it, and certain companies have that all the time. And there could be a variety of different reasons why you have that problem. It might be the owner, it might be other employees, it might be culture, it might be whatever. But I'm going to talk to you about this because we spend a lot of time helping people fix this problem. Because if we can't fix the people problem, we're not going to fix any of the other problem. Okay, next slide. So I came up with this idea here about 25 years ago, and I haven't been able to improve on it. But it starts with the foundation. So I'm going to say to you that this pyramid here represents your business. And everything on either side of it has to take place in order for you to grow your company. But if you look down at the blocks at the bottom, those blocks are the rebar reinforced foundation of your company. So I'm going to take about 5 minutes to explain to you how important getting this right is. So if you looked over at me and you said, as we said in the previous slide, my vision is to be a $10 million company. Okay, so right out of the chute, you can't seem to even manage a $5 million company where you're at right now. So you got an organizational problem. So you start with, what is that organization problem? Why are they having problems? So we got to fix that problem. So the goal is to become a $10 million company. When I stop into most companies, they don't have a plan. They don't have a business plan to get to where they're going to go. We have GPS now. Years ago, remember, we had old road maps. So you have to build your own GPS internally, build your business plan to get your company to the next level. And you've got to develop processes and procedures and systems, because that's where the rubber hits the road, and why one contractor does half the beebacks to jobs that the other contractor does is because of that block right there. You have the next block is job descriptions and job methods. You've got employees that work for your company that came from other companies. Some you train yourself, some came elsewhere. So you have to have processes, procedures, and systems, but you have to outline that in the methods. Because if you don't have methods in writing, there's no accountability. And obviously you have to have a good training program. This next little block is a very important block. When people hire us to do an assessment of their company, we send an evaluation sheet out and a questionnaire to every employee, and almost always they tell us that we don't even have evaluation for performance, and when we do, there's no really evaluation. It's just my immediate supervisor tells me all the things I don't do well. So we've developed a mathematical way financially employees love that lets them know all the time where they stand as their evaluation goes forward, and it creates a lot better culture. But the main thing I want to talk about today is your vision and incentives. So however you incentivize your employees, it has to be tied directly to your vision, because they have to have buy-in, because every day your employee, they have their vision, and does their vision work towards your vision, and do they work together? Okay, and good communication policy. And that last block says accountability. If you take any of these two blocks out, there is no accountability. Your company won't be successful. You have to master these basic fundamental things right here. That's what we help people do. We help people master those things so they can increase their profitability. Okay. So what creates value? So you're interested in growing your company, increasing its value, and making more money. We sell AC companies. We have 2 or 3 all the time we're working with, because our job is to help you grow them to where the value is what you want. The main source of value comes from the revenue you get. So does my revenue come from new construction? Does my revenue come from change out? Does my revenue come from service? A company that has revenue coming from service and coming from change out, the value at the end will be 4 or 5 times maybe more valuable than a company tied to new construction. So everybody needs to know as you build your company, you want to build it that way. The second most valuable thing with your company when you get ready to sell it or transfer it is your key employees. Do you have employment contracts and do you have long-standing employees? Because if somebody wants to write you a big check and employees vote with their feet and leave, it's really, the new buyer will never get out of it. So it's important that you know that and you have employment contracts with your employees that are golden handcuffed. Then last and certainly not least is written processes, procedures, and systems so a buyer can look at your company and they can determine, I see why this company's revenue is higher, their margins per employee, their sales per employee, they're doing better because they've got systems that track things, that track them. And AI comes into that in a lot of cases this day. All right, next one. So what we're going to talk about today is how to retain key employees and how to recruit key employees. So you've got to retain them. Employee turnover is one of the most expensive things you can have. You send a young person over to the AC school, put them in a truck, they don't bring any money. 3 or 4 or 5 years later, you can finally send them out and they can do some things. If they walk in down the road and they walk in and drop their truck keys on your desk and leave, it's catastrophic. It always is. So you can think it's going to cost me anywhere from $50 to $150, $200,000 if I lose a really good technician, or if I lose another good employee. But focus on those technicians. If you lose them, it's just so cost prohibitive to do that. And we're going to talk some strategies. Okay. Next. All right. So think about this. If I lose a key employee, my recruiting costs, my onboarding costs, all the productivity I lose, believe me, it really affects morale. When people leave, all you other people say, well, why did Joe leave or Mary leave? They were top employees. Why did they go somewhere else? So that may make other people start thinking about going somewhere else or even calling where that employee went. But all these other things that is so impactful. But the most important one, the bottom one, is the loss of revenue and profit. I got to replace that employee. Next one. So scenario, I use this scenario all the time to give you an idea. So I got truck B. Truck B does $300,000 a year in revenue. It could be out of new construction or service with a 6% net margin and a lot of B-backs a job. 6% on that truck equals $18,000. That truck has a long way to go. But my other truck, truck A, does $500,000 of revenue with a 16% margin and very few B-backs. That truck makes me $80,000 a year. So unfortunately, too many people have the $300,000 trucks, and you can't afford all the time and years you put in that $500,000 truck to lose it. It's just catastrophic. And therein lies why most people can't get to the next level. Okay? So if you think about that, finding and recruiting new employees, it's the opposite. When people see high quality employees join your company, it ups morale because they think, well, these people want to come here. It must be a pretty good place to work. It helps your culture improve. It helps your revenue improve, and it helps your profit. The reverse of that, if you get low quality employees, it has the absolute opposite effect. So always remember that you're always trying to upgrade your employees. I know all of you are trying to do it all the time, but you have to be successful at it. Okay? So think about this. With all of your employees, this is very important with me, with my company. My newest staff member just started about 2 months ago. But other than that new staff person, my average staff person has been with me more than 17 years. It just makes things work so much easier because they know where to go and what to do. So whatever your vision is that you have was a $10,000 company with the margins that we want to make, your employees wake up every morning and they have a vision. I want to go here. I want to go there. This is what I want to happen for my family. If they can't get that at your company, they're going to vote with their feet and find it somewhere else. So to the extent you know that employee's vision and talk to them about it, encourage them that you're going to make it such that they're going to be able to reach that vision with your company, with an open door policy. Because I think that's critical. Making sure you know what they want and be able to give it to them. Okay. So that being said, every company's got a carrot. What is the carrot that you're giving with your company? Okay. Everyone's got one. The carrot has to be in writing, your plan in writing. Everybody knows exactly what they have to do to be able to get whatever that carrot is. It's got to be like an interstate sign. Get off on the next exit. So it's got to be clear, just like that, in writing, okay? So incentives. You need to tie incentives to the vision of the company. Always remember that. I want to go here. I want people to come with me to that vision. I got to get buy-in from them. Okay, I got to get buy-in from all my employees. And the incentive compensation plan has to be such that the employees like it, and it motivates them. It gives them what they want in order to stay with your company, and they will help you make more money. They'll help you with your vision, and they'll help you find better employees. I can tell you. Okay. So think about this. Your incentive plan kind of looks like a three-legged stool. The main leg in the middle says company profits. So your company has to make a profit to incentivize. I tell employees all the time, broke, going out of business companies don't have good benefits. They don't have incentives. So it's good that the company makes a lot of money. You're with a great company. They've got a great incentive program. The company's doing good. And the better they do, the better you do. So think about this. You have short-term incentives. That's cash. That motivates people week to week, month to month, but it really does very little to retain your people long-term. That money is gone when they get it. They know they're going to get a $1,000 bonus. The $1,000 Christmas bonus, that's not the answer. The buying the lunches, that's not the answer. It's having a long-term vision and an incentive plan that ties them to your long-term vision. And I'll show you what that really means in the next few slides. Okay. So company profitability. So incentive-based compensation must be based on overall company profitability. And you're going to establish written requirements that establish that to let people know what that is and what it looks like to get buy-in, to get people motivated to hit those numbers. Okay. Next one. Okay, incentive-based compensation must also be based on personal performance. You only share incentives if you are within the key employee range that qualify for this. So this kind of program that I'm talking about is not for everybody. It's for your best people, and people who aren't receiving this, there's rules and ways that they can receive it, but they have to earn their way to this. And it gives people a path and gives them a reason to do better and want to grow and stay with your company. Okay. Okay. Incentive-based compensation also must be designed for people to stay with you long term. This thing is designed as a golden handcuffing process. It's really designed. Employees know this is designed to reward me for staying. That's so you want to bear that in mind all the time. This isn't the short term. This is to get people over the long haul. If you ever want to sell your company and you've got an incentive plan like this, and the buyer knows it, and he knows people have significant money in this program, that they're going to stay, and that increases the value of your company tremendously. Okay, next one. So again, cash bonus is designed short term, specific job, quarterly, annually, whatever you do, job to job or month to month, where you have smaller cash things that you do. But remember, that does nothing to keep people over the long term. It does nothing. That money's already spent. Okay. All right. So company stock, you could give people company stock. So the cash bonus is short term. Giving people stock in your company, it's never worked out for me. I mean, very few times it just doesn't work out. If you terminate an employee and they own their stock, when you take owner distributions and the employees are inside of your books, they want to know why your distribution was completely different formula than theirs. And then having to share all your company financials. I mean, I don't recommend that. I just never do, because it creates a lot of grief. So that's another way besides the cash to give people a reason to stay. Okay. This is a very important slide. When you design an incentive plan for your employees, your plan needs to be no different than a high quality company. So you think about, you're trying to motivate people to come with your company, and this incentive plan includes spouses always, to make sure they understand what the program is. But three things are going to happen in your employee's life. Hopefully they're going to live to a ripe old age and do well and retire and live a long time. But what happens to them along the way if they die? If they die, they're leaving your company, their family is a loss of income. And certainly what happens to your employee if they get disabled. So when you put a program like this together for an employee, I can tell you, it covers everything. If they live, they die, or they get disabled, there's something from them, or for them, from your company. And it's just how you design it. And this is the kind of thing that Fortune 500 companies do to attract the talent they want to attract and to keep them. And when you have a program like this, it's hard to walk away from it, because after time, they walk away from some huge benefits. Next one. But so plan structure, there's two different ways to look at giving employees benefits. One way is a qualified retirement plan. That's a 401k plan, a SEP. A qualified plan, you've got to go through all the IRS rules and regulations. You've got to go through other, government organizations or government ERISA, allowing for tax saving advantage of the program. But you got to go through these government programs to get the plan approved. And when you get it approved, it's got to be the same way for everybody. You put your money in your 401k plan. They put it in before tax dollars. It grows tax deferred, and they pay their income tax on the money when they take it out. Okay, and it's a good starting basic plan, but most of the time we talk to companies, employees don't participate. They don't participate. They just don't, and you put it out there and you get nothing for it. And quite frankly, it's not designed for key people, because you have to treat everybody the same. You're going to give your worst employee a percentage. You have to give your best employee the same time, the same benefit. So it just doesn't work. There's no clawback provision. If they leave, you can't get your money back or any of it back beyond the vesting. You can't have an employment contract with your key employees because you can't discriminate. So it's been our experience over time that it doesn't accomplish what you need to accomplish for your employees. And the next slide will explain to you another plan, okay? Okay. So if you think about plan structure, what is a non-qualified plan? A non-qualified plan, you don't have to qualify under any IRS rules or regulations. You cannot, however, put all of your employees on it. You can only put on what's called top hat employees or your key employees. Like you could segregate and say, I'm going to do this for my techs and certain management people. So the tax benefits are the same to you. You get a current tax deduction as you would with the 401k plan. The employees don't make any contributions. You contribute all the money, but you have total control of the plan. So it's kind of like an executive bonus program. It's designed for key employees only. So the employer determines which employees to include. I determine how much money I want to put in to that employee. I want a vesting schedule. How long do you have to stay, and what do you have to do to vest and ultimately earn this money? Okay, it comes with an employment contract. So it comes with a clawback provision if you leave, if you violate your contract. And what I've done is I've taken the money that I want to spend, and I'm focusing on the people who mean the most. That will give you more driving force as you put your company dollars out there. This will give you more bang for your buck tremendously. The one issue would be when you bonus the money to the employees in their contract. Remember, they don't have access to this money. It's put in a program for them. The money that they put in is taxable to them in the year they receive it. But all the money grows tax deferred, and they get all their money out tax free on the back end. A lot of people like it because I liken it to I'm planting a small seed of an oak tree, and I pay a little tax on that seed. But when it grows to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on the back end, all that money is mine tax-free. Okay, so that's just a basic structure. So you have to have a contract for that. So we call it incentive-based compensation agreement. So, a lot of times judges, especially in Florida, they don't like non-compete agreements because they say a non-compete agreement is a one-sided agreement and it does nothing for the employee but strangle them. So the program that we put together has a transfer for value. So you have to have an agreement that gives the employee something and you're asking them for something. So you're asking the employee for their loyalty, their commitment to do certain things, and then I'm giving you this for that. So it's a great contract because everybody gets what they want. So the contract protects the employee from loss of customers. Employee leaves, they can't take your customers, they can't take your information, they can't take your technology, they can't take your key employees. And through that vesting schedule, maybe a 10, 15-year vesting schedule, they have to stay over years, and over time they vest more money. But it provides a very, very meaningful benefit to help them reach their goals. I mean, you can have employees that have, depending on their age and their contributions, $1 million, $2 million in these things. And if they leave, they have to give all of that money up. So it's really a great plan. The employees like it because it creates huge value. Okay. So putting this thing all together, helping you put it all together. We're talking about increase your productivity, efficiency, and profitability. So you're going to give me the next slide. So if you're interested in an initial consultation with us to talk about, growing your company, improving your margins, and just incentive-based compensation employment contracts is a great starting spot. But processes and systems, evaluations, all that stuff, we do it. But a lot of times before we do it, we get the owner to say, listen, you want to hire me as a business consultant, let's get buy-in, let's get your employees engaged. You want to become a $10 million company. If we go in and tell people that, they need to know what's in it for them. So if you'd like more information about this, you can see our connection information here. Just reach back out to us and we'll get back in touch with you. And also, if you want CE credit, there's an hour of CE credit for this. We've been doing this for 45 years. We've worked with hundreds of contractors, and we certainly have a long list of references. But thank you very much, and I hope you got something out of this today. So I'll give it back to you, Cindy.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dennis. That was great. And Omni Group also has a relationship with Ferguson, so helping Ferguson contractors, right, with growing their business through.
Yeah, we actually have a program at Ferguson where they'll actually have a cost share with what we do. They like what we do, and they're willing to, if you're affiliated with Ferguson, pay a share of our fees. But they're a great partner.
Yes, no, I think that's wonderful to mention too. If anybody wants CE credits, as Dennis mentioned, you can go to the website. I would encourage you to reach out to Dennis and his team at Omni Group. I also wanted to bring everybody up on the screen if we could, and encourage everyone to reach out to all of the participants today on LinkedIn. Check out their websites. I know that Jim was collecting our producer Jim, thank you, was collecting some Q&A in the comments while we were presenting. So do you want to start, Jim, with Dennis Harrelson? Any questions? Okay, here we go. Can you explain more about a non-qualified benefit plan and a qualified benefit plan?
Oh, should be glad to. A qualified benefit plan, again, is a program. What qualified means is I have to qualify under a tremendous amount of different government rules and regulations in order to establish the plan. The plan, I can't discriminate. I have to do everything the same way for everybody. There's limited contributions. There's very little flexibility. So most people choose to go the complete opposite way, is non-qualified. Just simply means I don't have to qualify under any government rules or regulations. I can build a structure that benefits each employee based on what they need. So it's a much better motivator, and I can have an employment contract that would, as I said earlier, with a transfer for value that creates a golden handcuffing effect. So it's just, you get much more out of it, and your key employees and your technicians will get much more out of it. We'd be happy to meet with anybody and give you a side-by-side analysis so you understand why it's so much better.
That's great. Thank you, Dennis. Jim, okay, so how do I, this is for Dennis again, right? How do I introduce this program to my key employees?
Yes.
Well, again, if you're interested in working with us, and I'll just give you a quick example, you would like to have an assessment of your company. In other words, you want to have an assessment. You want your employees to be involved. You want to take your company to the next level. So we do what we call team building meetings. We gather your key employees together and we help you share with them where you're going. It's about a 45-minute presentation, where you're going, what you're doing, and why you're doing it, and then what's in it for them, to let them know that this is where you're going. And then when we do consulting work for people, the employees are much more engaged because they know where the company's going and there's something in it for them and their families. So it's just making people, informed, because everybody knows uninformed employees aren't happy employees. Yep.
Okay, wonderful. We have one more question for Dennis, and then we have a couple others for the other participants.
Transfer for value. Good question. Transfer for value means when you have it in contract, what is the value in it for you, and what is the value in the contract for your employees? So to make contracts work, you have to have a value for both people. So if you ever get in some kind of problem with one of your employees, the judges are going to say, listen, you signed a legitimate contract, you received this, and the employee gave you that, and you gave the employee something. So it's a very good contract, and it's the best way to create value between both parties. That was a good question.
That's great. Okay, Jim, do we have any other? I know I saw some questions for our other participants. So if you could, there you go. Okay, for Ron, you sold your company 4 years ago. That was Fresh Air UV that you co-founded, started a new HVAC company, Drain IV, 2 years ago, and now you're coming out with another HVAC company next week. Tell us more about that.
Well, yes. We helped create the IQ space starting in 2001 with Fresh Air UV. And yes, I was able to bring Drain IV to the market after my tenure was over with Diversitech. We brought Drain IV to contractors. They've been so far very successful promoting the product, generating revenues instead of nuisance calls. And now I'm going to come out with another IAQ company. The IAQ business, I believe, has lost a lot of its passion. A lot of manufacturers like me were purchased by larger companies who it's just a very small portion of their sales. So, I think we were 3% of revenue of the Diversitech company. So it takes away a lot of emphasis on helping the contractor increase their revenues, get better training, and, have their team more enthusiastic to promote the product. So a couple of the IQ players that are still in the market are doing a good job of it. But overall, we've definitely lost some of the vigor for promoting systems. And, after COVID, people said, well, there's not as much IAQ interest as there was. And I said, well, COVID was definitely a blip. It was like the housing spike of 2006, right before the demise. But, everyone is still interested in indoor air quality. It's not going away anytime soon. If you take the blip out, it's still growing at a 25 to 30% pace overall. So yes, I'm bringing back some of the passion, and the new company will be called Pro IQ.
I love it. And I also agree with you. And consumers are becoming more and more educated, and they're asking for these things. And I feel like they need tools like this through, from contractors. So thank you, Ron. This is really, really exciting. Mark, do you want to speak to that? I don't know if you have a question, but I know, you've worked with Ron for a long time in the IAQ space. So maybe you can speak to it from a contractor and, partnership perspective.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Cindy. Yes, absolutely. So, so often we see filtration on water, and I always ask, how important is the air that you breathe? It's as important, maybe more important, right? And we have tools to tackle things like that are in the space, whether it's a VOC, a chemical, and we all have chemicals in our house because we clean them, and hairspray and things like that. We have tools to keep the coil clean, and let to radiate the coil. Filtration is a big one, huge part of that. And to back that up a little bit, if you go to Home Depot, they have an entire line, an entire aisle full of filters, and Home Depot tracks everything. If it doesn't move, it doesn't stay. So your homeowners are very aware of the filtration part, but all three of those parts are important. And I would add one more to that, and that is dehumidification, which is often missed. In the slow 9 months out of 12, our AC runs a little less because the temperature outside is more mild, especially in Florida. So what happens is your humidity creeps up, and we start thinking, wow, it doesn't feel as not comfortable in here, though it's cold outside. The thing we're feeling is the water. So we tap the thermostat lower, trying to chase it. And that's really not the way to do it. A dehumidifier will solve that problem and make us way more comfortable in our space. But IAQ is huge. It's a great opportunity. The margins, Dennis mentioned margins. Margins are really important. And during, seasons where we're not quite selling a lot of AC units themselves, IAQ is a really good place to position with your company.
I agree. Such a great opportunity, and homeowners want it. I know from a homeowner and a mom's perspective, it's something that's so important. So we have a couple other questions. I think we have, okay, let's see. I think this is for Dennis S. How can AI help my HVAC company generate more inbound leads without increasing ad spend?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, you want to make sure obviously the website is optimized for inbound messaging. Inbound means it's coming in, you're not actually putting messages out. So you want to make sure you put an AI chat widget on your website that can take incoming questions. You want to make sure you set up a call scheduling that runs 24/7, and also use AI to write high converting SEO friendly blogs, because anytime you're putting keywords that people are searching for, that's inbound traffic to your website. So utilize AI to help you do keyword research, but also help you close and qualify more leads.
And I love that. Thank you, Dennis. And I also wanted to add to that. I know that our presentation focused a lot on email marketing and using AI to help with high converting emails, which also helps a lot with generating new business opportunities. So a lot of contractors don't nurture their email lists. And I feel like that's just a big opportunity, and it's not expensive at all. Okay, what is the next question? Let's see. How can AI qualify HVAC leads before my team ever picks up the phone? Is this for Dennis?
Okay. Yeah, I think this is like a follow-up question. So, you can use AI to train it to ask certain questions. So if somebody's asking irrelevant questions, they're obviously not qualified leads. So, you can use AI to confirm service types, urgency, locations, and filter out price shoppers or bad fits. So with AI, with the large learning models, you can really ask the right questions and figure out if it's the right prospect or a client for you. And we can train all kinds of models with inside the actual chat widget or AI voice agents. So that's a great way to qualify a lead.
Yeah, and I also think it helps the smaller contractors become more and more competitive, because it's so expensive right now to do pay-per-click all the time, and it really gives them the opportunity to compete in a really vast marketplace. So okay, let's see. As the industry moves toward increased automation and AI, what are the most realistic high impact areas HVAC companies should adopt first? Is this also for, because I think we'll make sure, I want to make sure everybody gets questions. So is this for Dennis as well? Dennis S?
No,
Oh, is this for, is this Brian? Is this your question? I think as
Well,
the
it's
industry moves
something I can answer.
Yes, thank you. That would be great. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good question. I think when you start to look at like what's being advertised, what are people doing with AI out there, the things that are probably most prevalent are, call answering services. Hey, AI can answer the phone, right? And that's probably the most popular thing right now. So that can be implemented for regular office hours, like a receptionist, kind of like what Dennis is talking about. You can filter out the bad leads. The telemarketers, right? You can have somebody who's there to make sure every call gets answered, filters out the junk, and then just at a very basic thing, forward the good calls to you, right? And then if the AI is connected to your software, you can then have it do more things, right? You can look up your customer, find history, book calls, right? You can really kind of build upon that. So that's like probably one of the easiest things you can do. The other thing too is more along, taking your base kind of, Cindy, like you talked about with email. What we find is we have a lot of our companies have a really big customer databases, but very little engagement. And so you can create AI to do outbound call campaigns as well. So you can kind of couple that and combine that with email as well as voice to reach out and to engage with your customers. So whether it's seasonal type stuff, emergencies that are happening, hey, hurricanes coming through, right? That type of stuff. Or, the biggest bang for your buck is with all your service agreements. A lot of customers, a lot of companies struggle or they think, having a large service agreement base is difficult to manage, but with AI, you can very easily manage it, make all those calls, make sure everybody's getting scheduled and you're fulfilling your obligations on those contracts. So those are some of the immediate ways.
That's great. Thank you, Brian. And I know that the other thing I just wanted you to mention, because I know having worked with you over the years, there's some other things like that you do, and I know that a lot of the companies here, like we talked about, partners with their contractors, but maybe you can speak a little bit to the consulting side of it, because I know that it goes a lot deeper than just working as a software company with your contractors. As you mentioned, you're really listening to them and offering consultative type of services.
Sure. Yeah, no. We've grown over the last 12 years by listening to our contractors, right? I'm a technology guy. I'm a software guy by trade. I was never an HVAC contractor. I never worked in an HVAC company. So all of my learning about the trade has been through my clients. So it just makes sense for me to listen and then provide my perspective on things. And through that, we've developed, really good relationships and allows us to do what I do best, which is to hear problems and come up with solutions for them, right? That's the fun part. That's why we're named P3 HVAC, software, HVAC business solutions, right? We're trying to help people solve different, challenges. So we do assessments. We do all sorts of things that go above and beyond just, hey, how do you work with the software? It's how can this work, for your business? How can you implement, product solutions that will help you long term? And I'm kind of seeing that question along the bottom. I don't know if you want me to take that one too.
Yeah, that would be great. you know?
Yeah, it kind of goes with just what we are talking about, is that oftentimes, just like what everybody, like there's just we're all limited by time, right? There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much that we can do. And every day, probably everybody here on the call, you leave the day like, oh man, I just didn't finish everything I need to do, right? And so the nice thing about AI and software is that it can be an extra set of eyes, an extra pair of hands to do the things that you can't get to, right? Like think about all your follow-ups. You got follow-ups on proposals, invoices that haven't been paid, things like that. You have, it's the middle of December and we still haven't, done all of our, winter tune-ups. So how are we going to contact all those people? How are we going to, get in touch with them? And that's where the technology comes into play, whether it's AI, just, regular software. That's where you can have, just a really big impact. You talked about it before, Cindy, with email, and Dennis with drip sequences. You can automate that, so you can have engines working behind the scenes for you, so you don't have to remember to do all those things. And if you set it up right, it'll tell you what's going on and what to expect, and can summarize things, can analyze things, can find trends for you. So that way, with your time, you can spend your time on the most valuable things. And the biggest challenge we have is trying to figure out what those things are, because in the busy day-to-day stuff, you get so much stuff thrown at you, you kind of forget the big picture, right? And so if you can have those tools summarize it and kind of keep you on track, it makes you feel a little better at the end of the day.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like that's the beauty of P3 HVAC software. One of the beauties is that you can actually really have a bird's eye view of what's working, what's not, what's happening, and similar on the marketing side with the pipeline amp. And I think we have a couple questions for UEI as well. I know. Okay, so here we go. You mentioned, Louise, award-winning service. Can you tell us what that looks like?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the things that we've been talking about today, right, is how do we operate our companies? How do we grow our companies? And, test instruments plays a really important part about that. Because if you don't have the test instruments that are going to be able to measure what you need, for example, we were talking about humidity earlier. So if you don't have a tool that is helping you with humidity, it's really hard to tell what you need to install and how to, help with that customer. One of the things that we spend a lot of our time doing is we work a lot with combustion analyzers. So we're doing a lot of that flue gas analysis, and combustion analyzers are an interesting beast, is how I would say that, because there's two parts, right? Because a lot of times when we're looking at those things for our companies, is that we're looking at what does it cost me today and what does it cost me to maintain it in the future. So there's a two part that goes along with that. So we're doing combustion analysis, but now we have to send it in every year for its annual recertification. And we really changed the game on that. We designed a program called UEI Service Plus Guaranteed. It's designed for the contractors out there to be able to send in their combustion analyzer every single year for its annual recertification, and we extend the warranty on that analyzer for up to 10 years from the date of purchase. On top of it, we're talking about the cost of it. We have been able to do a reduced service price on something like that to be able to, from our standard service, to help the contractors, especially being upfront with all of our pricing, because it helps you be able to budget what you need to be able to spend for the next year on those test instruments. And then the last thing that we really do is that we took the guesswork out of having to guess how to send it in, because shipping things across the country can be very expensive. So we provide you the shipping label to actually be able to ship it to and from us. And your time is very valuable. So we do same day recertification out of our Indianapolis facility. So things that land in Indianapolis on, say, a Wednesday morning actually go back out to the contractors on Wednesday afternoon, because we wanted to make sure that you weren't having downtime in the field with your test instruments.
That's great. Thank you, Louise.
Mhm.
Jim, was there another question oh, okay. So, this is a great question. How can test instruments help grow our sales, contractors?
Well, having test instruments that are easy to use and provide you the information and data, right? Because unfortunately, if we really look at the industry, we're talking about a lot of front end things today, right? Like integrating the AI and how can we get more leads? How can we qualify all of those? But to tap on one of the things that we talked earlier is that we need technicians that can diagnose and actually do all of that, because we don't have a company if we don't have a basis of somebody who is measuring and testing. So by having solutions that are easy for our contractors to be able to use will help grow sales, because they are now going to be able to work more efficiently on the back end, which is kind of the side that you don't necessarily always see as much. So when you're picking them out, how much, like, you know, what's the value proposition on those test instruments? Are they going to do everything that I need in my daily job? And I think by having those tools that make it easy, it's going to make it's going to make your installers, it's going to make your service techs, it's going to make everybody on that side work more efficiently, so you can get to more of those leads that you're getting through some of the other partners.
That's great. Thank you, Louise. I think we're going to wrap. In closing, I just wanted to go around and have everybody share what the best way to reach you is to find out more about you. I also wanted to give a shout out to a few of the company. Well, everybody here actually gives back in so many ways, but I know that UEI works very closely with the Grit Foundation, which supports the trades. And maybe you can speak to that as we go around before we close. I know Ron does a lot for the military and also the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. And so, yeah, if we could just go around and everybody let us know how we can reach you, what the best way to get in touch with you, and then we will wrap. Thank you so much. Dennis, do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. So yeah, pleasure having everybody on our webinar. Again, you can contact myself and Cindy at milliondollarhvacr.com, and we look forward to working with everybody. Thank you.
Dennis Harrelson? Oh, I think it's muted again. Hold on one second. Let me just see if we can unmute that. There we go. Can you speak?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'd just like to say I'm glad to be here. You saw our website as it floated across the screen. If you're interested in growing your business and making more money and putting the right people in place, we'd probably be a good choice for you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis. Louise?
So you can find our company, ueitest.com. If you want to personally reach out to me, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there and easy to find. You mentioned the fact that we do support the Grit Foundation. We believe very heavily in investing in the next future of technicians, and that's a great organization that helps get kids interested in the trades, because so many of them haven't been able to see that. But the also good news is that I see that the next generation is changing and the trades are becoming ever more popular. So we look forward to working with the next generation.
Thanks, Louise. Brian?
Yes, thank you again for having me, and it was a pleasure to participate. You can find out more about our company and our software at, as you can see along the ticker tape on the bottom, at just hvacbusinesssolutions.com. Thank you.
And connect with Brian Starzak on LinkedIn, right?
Yes. Yeah, all the social stuff too.
Yes. Okay, Ron?
I just changed my name to Zoogie Killer. We are doing everything we can to prevent Zuglia, so drainiv.com. Thank you very much for allowing us to participate.
Thank you, Ron. And you can connect with Ron on LinkedIn as well. And Mark, take it away.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. Glad to be here. Just wanted to say a quick note about Cindy. She's got a long HVAC experience. So to get a marketer that has HVAC experience, I think she's the right choice. For me, it's ferguson.com. My email address is mark.rambo, RAMBO, at ferguson.com as well.
Wonderful. What an honor to be with these incredible industry veterans. So thank you so much. And thanks everyone for joining, and have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.